In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was lifeless and empty and black. And the Spirit of God moved across the vast emptiness. And He said, "Let there be light." And suddenly light covered the entire sphere of the earth. God looked at the light and He said, "That's good." Then God took the light and He separated it from the darkness. Looking at the light, He said, "I will call you day." Turning to the darkness, He said, "And I will call you night." And so with the day and the night, this was the first day. On the second day, God said to the waters that covered the earth, "Be divided." Instantly the waters divided. Some of the waters went up above and the others stayed down below. God looked at the waters that were above and He looked at the waters that were below, and then He looked at the space that was in between the two. He said, "I will call you sky." On the third day, God focused on the waters that were beneath the sky. He said, "Separate and let dry land appear. Let there be lakes and seas and rivers." Instantly, the dry land moved up from the waters. Rivers flowed off of the land, forming rivers and valleys and separate the hills. There were lakes and seas everywhere. God looked at the dry land and He looked at the seas and the rivers and the lakes, and He said, "That's good." Then God said to the land, "Bring forth vegetation. Let there be shrubs and trees and vegetables and fruit trees." Instantly around the earth, plants started to grow. Some of these plants would become grasses. Some of them would become herbs and spices and bushes and trees. Some of the trees would go high into the sky, and others would stay low to the ground. Some would be fruit trees with all different kinds of fruits. And everything, all the vegetation, had seed in itself so that life could continue on. God looked at the vegetation and said, "That's good." On the fourth day, God looked into the heavens, said, "Let there be lights. Let there be a greater light that will rule over the day and a lesser light that will dominate the night. And these will divide the day and the night and be for signs and seasons, days and years." Immediately the sun started moving across the sky, bringing light to the earth and warmth that encouraged the plants. The moon and the stars dominated the night with beauty and brilliance. And God looked at the stars and the moon and the sun. He said, "That's good." On the fifth day, God looked at the skies and the seas that were beneath it. He said, "Bring forth life. Let there be birds and fish and sea creatures." Immediately, sea creatures started moving through the seas. Some were very large and others were very, very small. There were fish of all different shapes and colors and swimming patterns. Birds filled the sky with all different kinds of colors, flight patterns, sounds. Some flew high up in the sky and some stayed close to the earth. And God looked at the birds and the fish and the sea creatures. He said, that's good. And He blessed them and told them to multiply and fill the skies and the seas. On the sixth day, God said to the land, bring forth living creatures. Let there be reptiles and bugs and wild animals and animals that can be tamed. And immediately animals started moving across the surface of the earth. Some were huge and others were very, very small. There were bugs and reptiles of all different kinds. And God looked at them. He said, that's good. Then God said, let us make people. Let's make them like us. And we will give them the authority over the birds and the fish and the animals. And so God made a man and a woman. And he blessed them and told them to multiply and fill the earth with people. He gave them the responsibility for the birds, the fish, and the animals. He gave them grasses and vegetation, vegetables and fruits to eat. This was the same thing that the animals were to eat as well. Then God looked at all that He had made. And He said, this is very, very good. On the seventh day, God rested from all that He had done. And He blessed the seventh day because He had rested. And He made it special. And so, this is how God created the heavens and the earth, and how He brought about life in the first week of time.